Podcast, Personal Finance Edition. I'm Olivia, and I'm joined by my co-host, Rashmi.
Today, we're going to talk about needs versus wants. So, Olivia, what do you need to survive?
Well, Rashmi, there's a lot that I rely on a daily basis. Like, I need clothes, food, tech, my phone, my laptop, transportation, mainly, all of these things just to stay caught up with society.
Me too. I rely on technology, new clothes, high-tech gadgets all the time.
But we don't really need all of that to survive. A lot of our lives are consistent with luxuries unheard of to our ancestors a few decades back. I mean, my grandparents didn't rely on their cell phone every single day.
Yeah, that's what we're going to unpack today. The difference between what we need and what we want. Sometimes we disconnect our purchases from necessity, especially because of our day and age where we're existing now, and we fail to leave income left over for our needs because we'll misunderstand high-priority wants with needs.
On a basic level, our needs really consist of only 3 things: food, clothing, and shelter. But of course, there's more that we need to maintain our lifestyle in our 21st century society.
But before all else, we need to be able to pay off our rent or mortgage to maintain shelter. And we need to buy food and water to sustain our bodies, and clothes to go out in public and stay warm.
Anything else that's necessary for survival can fall under the category of needs as well. If you need money to pay for your car or any other form of transportation so that you can get to work or school, because that's where you get your income to sustain yourself, that's a need. You're relying on that to sustain yourself.
And another less conventional need is medical care. If you're relying on medications or medical procedures to live, money for that is a need. It's vital for your survival.
On the other hand, wants are essentially everything else. After what you need to survive, there are wants, but there may be different levels to wants.
But as a whole, wants are anything non-essential to your survival. They're nice to have and can come in handy. But if it's not necessary, it shouldn't be the first thing on your mind after receiving a paycheck, like watching that new movie that came out, like Five Nights at Freddy's, that came out 2 weeks ago.
Well, although it may seem necessary to have the newest phone or laptop or go watch Five Nights at Freddy's, it's not essential. It's certainly important for keeping you in a happy mindset and staying connected, but you can still live comfortably without it.
For example, you can live without a gym membership. It's certainly helpful to have one for staying in shape and keeping a healthy body, but it's still a luxury, especially when there are better cheaper alternatives to do things like that.
Yeah, and when money gets tight, wants are the first thing that you should be scrapping off of your regular purchases. What you're managing your money to stay for, and when you're planning for your purchases, always keep your needs. Your gym membership is not more important than buying your groceries.
But keep in mind that not all needs have to be the best possible version. Although clothes are a need, new clothes aren't. And again, like I said with the gym membership, there's always a cheaper alternative. So if you really want new clothes, just go to a thrift store.
Yeah, exactly. So just like how you don't need the newest luxury car for transportation, you don't need the newest, most expensive version of your needs either. If it works, it works. Don't go out of your way to make unfeasible purchases.
While we're on the topic of making choices with your needs and wants, it would benefit us to talk about growth needs. Beyond simply needing items for survival, there are also growth needs that are essential for you to achieve your life goals.
Right, growth needs are anything that you feel is more important than basic wants for its vitality to your success as an individual, but it's not a core need. It's not one of those core 3 that we discussed earlier. So Rashmi, what's one of your growth needs?
Well, I'm hoping to develop myself in the field of business. So, while new clothes might not be an essential to my survival, professional clothes are necessary for me to achieve my career and life goals. They're a growth need of mine. Not as important as basic needs, but it's definitely still up there on my list of priorities.
Exactly. Understanding the different levels of needs and wants ensures that we know where our money should be going first. It helps us understand why some things that we really want might not be essential, instead more of an extra upgrade for our lives than the software that we're living off of. So when money gets tight, there are logically different levels of what things we should scrap off our daily budget. So first would go away wants, extra wants, and then if we need to, our growth needs, and then very last, because only in the worst case scenario would be to get rid of our essential needs.
But you know who often loses sight of this? Lottery winners.
That makes sense. Suddenly you get lots of money and you don't know what to do with it.
Yep. According to the National Endowment for Financial Education, 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt within a few years. They start spending carelessly and lose sight of what they need to maintain a new lifestyle. So, in simpler words, they just lose sight of their needs versus wants.
Yeah, surely. And greed and desire for more money must definitely have its influence as well. I mean, if I suddenly won $1,000,000, it's not like I would stop wanting more.
Exactly. Of course. So, take for example Laura and Roger Griffiths. They won a $2.19 million jackpot and started spending money like it's water. Starting a band, buying luxury cars, and even opening businesses.
So they definitely got a taste for the high life.
Yeah. And guess how much money they were left with? Only $10. And they're only one of examples of many, many individuals who just lost sight of their needs in life and wasted their monies on their wants.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to stay grounded in what you really need to survive. Living a comfortable life doesn't require millions of dollars. All you need is to be smart about the income that you do have and to use it to its full capacity.
You're already on the right path by being here and learning about how you can exactly do that. This was Rashmi and Olivia dissecting needs and wants on today's episode of Community Corner Podcast, Personal Finance Edition. Next time, we'll start looking at taxes. That's all for today.